In March of 1941, Marvel Comics' predecessor company, Timely Comics, introduced an intentionally patriotic superhero whose goal would be to rile up support by the American people for American involvement during World War II by having this superhero constantly defeat a caricature of Adolf Hitler. While the character's popularity began to wane at the end of World War II, his popularity grew more so than ever before after his reintroduction into Marvel Comics in the 1960s and his placement as the leader of the superhero team, the Avengers. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and today we're going to be talking about Captain America.
I just want to get loose when the beat drops.
So for the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the popularity of Captain America, because one of the most common questions that I hear with people is, why is Captain America so popular? Why is he so well known among those inside Marvel Comics and those outside of Marvel Comics? Because he's really kind of a mainstay. And there's some debate here as to whether or not he's the most popular character in Marvel Comics. I think that as of 2007 or something like that, he had sold somewhere around 200 million issues. And some people look at Spider-Man and say he's more popular. Some people look at Thor and say that Thor is more popular. But we're going to talk about Captain America's popularity here. When it comes to Captain America, you have to look at what he represents in order to understand his popularity. And Captain America is not just any Marvel comic book character. I mean, there's thousands and hundreds of thousands, and possibly even millions of comic book characters if you take into account the one-shots that you saw in the early days of Timely Comics, characters that were rolled back into Marvel Comics after Timely Comics became Marvel Comics. There are a lot of characters out there, and Captain America really kind of stands alone in the realm of individuals in Marvel Comics. Captain America represents the best of the United States, the best that we could strive for. He stands for righteousness, for fairness, for making the right call, doing the right thing. You know, he never makes a promise that he can't keep. He never breaks his promises. He's always fair. He's always right. He's a gentleman to women that he comes across. You know, he's a gentleman to men that he comes across. You know, he's the epitome of what we perceive to be the absolute best of us as the American people. And in the 1940s, American patriotism was really a big thing. I mean, you had the Axis powers, you had World War II going on, and Adolf Hitler and the Axis powers represented the antithesis to what America represented at the time. We represented truth, justice, the American way, to kind of steal a phrase from Superman. And with the Axis powers, it was the opposite of that. With the Axis powers, it was oppression. It was fascism. It was, you can live, but only under the conditions that we set. It wasn't freedom. And so Captain America represented the American righteousness, the American might, fighting against the oppression of fascism on a cartoonist level. And so it was really kind of a way for propaganda to reach children, to multiple facets of humanity. Because remember, in the United States at the time, Captain America was not really just a comic book character. Captain America appeared in newspapers, and he appeared in magazines. He appeared all over the place. He had his own serial. So he was huge in the 1940s. But because of the fact, towards the end of World War II, that patriotism was kind of going away, or the need for heightened patriotism, so to speak, was going away, his popularity kind of went away with it, because there really wasn't a need for someone like Captain America, who really kind of had this extreme, patriotism going on. Now, in the 1960s, with his reemergence, America was in a sort of state of chaos when it came to our social atmosphere. We had the Civil Rights Movement, the Cold War, hippies in the Vietnam War. There were a lot of things going on. And the American people really kind of wanted something to rally around. Not the American people as a whole, but those who were a fan of comics, those who were looking for something to verify that they as people were good. That we as Americans weren't wrong, that we make mistakes, we stumble, we fall, but in the end, we're still inherently good people. And Captain America was that. That was what Captain America did. Initially, with his reintroduction, he was in, I think it was Tales of Suspense, number 110, but I'm not going to swear to that. But he was kind of brought back in a one issue with Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four. And at the end of the comic, it turned out that it wasn't actually Captain America. It was a villain named Acrobat. He was kind of a member of a trapeze group, I think it was, and he had been involved in some crimes and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, at the end of the comics, Marvel was really kind of dipping their toe in the water, and they were asking the question, how receptive would Captain America be if we brought him back? And he was extremely well received by by Marvel Comics fans, because Marvel Comics fans looked at Captain America much the same way that people looked at Captain America in the 1940s. People needed a sign of patriotism. People needed a sign that, we need someone that we can look at that can be the kind of icon of America, the kind of icon of what we can stand for. And people wanted that wanted to have something to rally around. They wanted that as something that they could rally with, they could kind of grab hold of and grip and run, with a sort of banner, so to speak. And so from the 1960s onward, Captain America really stayed as this mainstay in the Marvel Comics universe, because as Marvel Comics progressed, they became more dark. Marvel Comics became much darker, they became more sinister, there were far seedier things going on, and there had to be one ray of light among everything that went on in the Marvel Comics, and that was Captain America. When the Avengers were in a state of turmoil, when you had the Civil War series going on, there had to be the one guy who was fighting for the right cause. There had to be someone somewhere who was doing the right thing, and that was Captain America. No matter what happened in the Marvel Comics, no matter how bad things got, Captain America was always there fighting the good fight. He was always leading the group of the good guys. And that's why he was so popular, because at the end of the day, he never compromised his morals. He always fought the good fight. And if there was no one else that comic book fans could rely on to be the sole voice of righteousness and freedom and liberty in Marvel Comics, it was Captain America that they could rely on. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this video to an end. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.